So I guess it's been a while. Well, I have been procrastinating on this video for long enough. It has been a process getting this out. Set a bit too high expectations for myself going in, so I decided to just lower the bar a little bit, get this out, and move on to other videos that'll hopefully be out monthly. Well, with that out of the way, welcome to Monoscore. Here's a semi-oldish video about analog horror. For as long as I've been exposed to fiction, I've had an interest in the lineage of stories, the way that one story can go on to influence many others, which influence even more. And as this sort of family tree evolves, you can see how tropes change and new genres are born and shift. Recently, one such emergent genre has taken the internet by storm. I'm talking about analog horror. For the uninitiated, analog horror is a type of horror based mostly on YouTube. Video distortion effects, usually found on analog devices, are often used to instill a sense of dread or fear in the viewer. The kind of stuff that you would see on an old camcorder or with a VHS player. These distortions are great for building tension, and they allow for most projects to still be terrifying without the need for expensive props or a lot of special effects. Most of the horror in these series happens where your mind is left to fill in the blanks, an art that I find is all too often lost on big Hollywood productions. So that's analog horror. Now that you're all caught up, let's see how the whole thing started. Hey, I got my script on this. Sorry about the immersion. I'm not that good at remembering things. I suppose we should start with Local 58. It's an analog series, of course, analog horror series, of course, about a local TV broadcast station whose broadcasts are being interfered with by mysterious forces. Its creator, Chris Straub, has been creating stories since 2000, and by 2015 has made quite the resume of very, very well-known and very, very well-made horror series. You may recognize him as the writer of Candle Cove, creator of a couple well-known webcomics, a player on Acquisitions Incorporated, or as the creator of the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man. Quite the resume. So when he released the short Weather Service and kicked off Local 58 TV, it's not exactly a surprise that the short was received so well. It's widely regarded as the first piece of analog horror, in part due to the fact that Chris Straub himself coined the term for the short and anything inspired by or sequeling it. Anyways, following the release and following sequels to the short, many other series slowly started popping up under the umbrella of analog horror, many of which did exactly what stories tend to do and influenced other stories. You get the drill. Now, with all this in mind, one would think that Local 58 would be the obvious roots of this tree. But no, this isn't the first piece of analog horror. Let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I know this isn't a perfect comparison. I can already feel some of the angry comments riding their way up my spine and in the back of my skull. But, just bear with me for a second, okay? I think that the original FNAF game, and to a lesser extent, 2 and 3, are pretty textbook examples of analog horror, set to piece together what's really happening based on disparate information, and most importantly, at least to me, the real horror, beyond the cheap jump scares, is in the places that you can't see. In between these security cameras or the bits covered up by CCTV static or in the shadows and the corners of rooms. That's where the real fear is. So, while the genre didn't exist yet, people were already writing analog horror. Now, you would think that this would be pretty obvious, right? Genres are just categories by which we sort stories, so it's easier for us to find the stories that we like. However, I don't think we use them in that way. I've seen genres be treated more like a framework to build a story around, or something that the author bases whatever they want to create on, rather than just something that you slap on at the end of the finished product. Take this video, for example. Before I even started writing, I decided that I wanted this to be in the genre of a video essay. And so, I began writing, recording, and eventually I will be editing in the style of what I think of as a video essay. Bringing this rant back into the context of analog horror, I have a slightly interesting take about how this genre grew to such prominence all of a sudden. Obviously, the skill that goes behind making these and the quality of the work had so much to do with it, but I think there's just a little bit more to it. You see, when Chris Straub coined a term for this style of video, he gave all the works inspired by it a banner they could fall under. In our modern world run by keywords and hashtags, this is an incredible advantage for any smaller works looking to find an audience. Now, you could go into making this sort of thing expecting fans of that genre to flock to it. This lets these projects reach whole new audiences that they probably never would have otherwise. Now, I don't want anyone to misconstrue this as me trying to take away from the talented work some of these independent creators do. I think it's great that we have these systems to help people find art that speaks to them a bit more personally than the things produced for the greatest common denominator can. I just think it's really interesting how these things can contribute to the art itself. It's amazing how somebody can make a story that inspires people to make their own stories. And it really makes me want to join in that tidal wave of inspiration. There you go. No. Oh. Okay. Hi, it's Outro Adam, here to tell you to like and subscribe and, I don't know, leave a comment saying how gross I am or whatever. I don't really care what it says. I'll read them. Whatever. I got more videos, I got Twitch, I got Discord, you should check all of those things out. But most importantly, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful night, and just keep doing you. Bye.